You're listening to the Mackay T Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Ryan Mackay and T Davis.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah, you can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.
Welcome back to the Mackay T Show podcast. Welcome back, T. It's been a while.
It's been a long time, people. We missed you. We missed you. Hope y'all missed us.
Yes, well, like I posted on Facebook yesterday to let all our people know that we will be coming back. I said a lot is going on since we last were together.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of new happenings in the world. We have a new president.
I think we talked to him since then.
Did we?
But we don't have so much happen. But yeah.
Well, you know how my mind has been these last few months. It's been going in and out on even conversations you and I have had. So, yeah. But anyway, let's go and kick this thing off. We have a new champion in women's college basketball. South Carolina Gamecocks defeated Mississippi State Lady Bulldogs last night. State has been on a nice little run. Got a media exposure, especially after Friday night. They defeated the UConn Huskies, stopping their 111-game winning streak. We're going to get into that in a little bit because for the first time ever, you and I have the same Chantin Rantin. So yes. We're going to get into that game in a minute, but just focusing on this game last night, South Carolina came in with a great game plan. They boxed and won Morgan Williams, and sometimes they pulled it into a triangle and two with her and Vivian's. Really just seemingly rattled William the entire game. Paul Thing was just not herself, not what she's been being here the last couple of weeks. Just a struggle all night long, and State, well, most notably Vic Schaefer is making headlines right now with the fact that he did not play her the entire fourth quarter.
Maybe she was hurt.
Well, this is what everybody who has texted me, wanting my opinion on it. I think it was a very brave and bold coaching decision on his part, and he basically took the pressure off of her. And I'll say this, and I mean when I say that, I mean this. She, like I said, she was having a very rough game. And going into the fourth quarter, they were down, I believe it was double digits, or it might have been 9 points, but the game was, they were not in, South Carolina was in control. The little girl, Jasmine Holmes, the backup point guard, come in and she had been playing well. Williams was she was just out of it. And I think to save her from getting just blasted after the game, it's having a horrible game, and it was a complete letdown. She lost the championship, blah blah blah. He put all the pressure and all the criticism on him, and he's getting it. People are blasting him, saying he's gone from getting a raise to needing to be fired, and with his coaching decision. I think it was.
Mississippi State ain't been in no Final Four ever, but now all of a sudden they need to be fired. I can't.
Right. And I completely think he just made the greatest decision ever. I know it wasn't going to work out in their favor because I don't think they were going to win with her on the bench because, Jasmine Holmes is a great player. She's young sophomore. She's not ready for that type of spotlight, and the rest of the team just was not playing as well either. Asia Wilson from South Carolina was completely trashing Mississippi State's bigs all night long. Just way too athletic for them. Was giving them problems all night. Bianca Cuevas, point guard for South Carolina, played probably her best game of her career last night and was a major part of just rattling Morgan Williams for State. It was not going State's way. Victoria Bivens was not shooting well, and we've seen in the past when she doesn't shoot well, she don't play well. And she's one of them type players, and that's just how it is. He made the right decision. You know what he thought.
I don't know about not paying her a whole 10 minutes. I mean, if it wasn't a blowout, you can put her out there a few minutes, see how it goes. She could have had a wake up, like, I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, that was the other end of what I was telling people. You know, he may have thought that it was best interest of her. You know, as far as like I was saying, just taking all the pressure off her. But on the other side of that coin, she has shown, at least by her words and the way she's spoken to media, I feel like she's strong enough person to get through it. If it did come to that point where she was the one who was blamed for the loss, I feel like she would be strong enough to push through that and persevere and come back next season, her senior year, and play, you know, with a chip on her shoulder.
Yeah, the Michigan kicker got it past that she would have got past.
Yeah, blame it on the Michigan kicker. Yes.
It's the Michigan kicker. He got past it, she can get past it. Like you just don't know when you're going to be back in this. You might think, oh, we got a good enough team to make it, but look at teams like Gonzaga. They've had solid teams. This is their first time, and who knows when they'll be back. So they got to throw all your chips in and try to win.
Right.
Now, if it was a 20-point blowout, I'll be like, okay, well, whatever. But if they close enough, with 10 minutes to go, so much could have happened. That's why you sure she wasn't hurt?
They had not said, literally, that was the word after the game. He said her, in his comments where we had he didn't even single her out. He just said we had players on our team who were not showing the proper effort for the moment, and you know that's why he chose to sit them down. He didn't single her out at all,
yes, he did.
he didn't say that.
When he set it out for the fourth quarter.
Well, that wasn't the only one that he said. He did sit other starters, but she's the only one that's making headlines because she's the only one anybody cared about. But I will say this for her. I was reading some of her quotes, and I have them here. Said Williams said she was ready to go back into the game the second that Coach Vic Schaefer called her name, but as the final 10 minutes of the season ticked away, she never took the floor, and sophomore Jasmine Holmes mostly ran the point. Coach wanted more energy, and I guess I wasn't bringing enough, Williams said. I'm not mad. Jazz did a good job. She had good energy on offense and defense, and she scored and made good passes. I'm very proud of her. Asked if Schaefer said anything to her about not putting her back in the game, Williams said, he shouldn't have to. He's the coach. I'm just a player. Whatever he thinks is best, that's best for the team. I was just cheering on my teammates. Which I thought
you gotta understand, she just had a really emotional roller coaster. Cause you go from this high of we just knocked off the champ, and then you, after the celebration, you sit back and you say, dang, we got to play a team that we haven't been able to beat in a while. So that high goes down, no matter what they might say. Like they did think about, we haven't beat them. Just like I think South Carolina was somewhat happy that Mississippi State beat UConn, because UConn would have beat South Carolina. Just because mentally, South Carolina didn't think they could beat them. Like, you can see the other games that South Carolina played against UConn, and they didn't think they could beat them.
Right.
Well, they knew they could beat Mississippi State. And so now the same, it flipped. And so State is just like, they beat us in the SEC championship. They'll beat us during the regular season. Gosh, I wonder, can we find a way? Then you got to think of the energy factor. Like, it took a lot of energy for them to win that game. And yeah, you get that 1 day's rest, but they've been playing like a lot.
Yeah.
All through the SEC tournament, you have these NCAA games. It's emotional. You don't really go crazy in practice. I don't know. Good coaches don't run their kids down in practice. These usually walkthroughs, make sure they stay in shape kind of deals. They just run out of gas.
Yeah, and I think that's what it really boils down to. And I don't know that they'll make it back to this point, but they'll have a chance. I mean, they bring enough of their team back. Losing Dominique Dillingham is going to hurt them. They're going to have to find a way to replace her. But I feel like they're going to have enough where they can make another run. You know, whether
you just don't know though. Like
things happen. Injuries,
people get hurt.
Yes.
We look up somebody be on transfer to something crazy. Yeah. These new kids come in, the chemistry completely changed, some trust issues because somebody might be better than we expected, and now somebody might be starting, somebody might be coming off the bench. Like so much can happen.
Right.
That you just, when you have these opportunities, you have to jump on it. Look at the Carolina Panthers. Oh, they should be back next year. They played like crap this year.
Yeah, Cam was hurt all year long and had an awful year.
So you just don't know.
Yeah.
Like I hope she was hurt or something. Like even if she go back in there 2 or 3 minutes and put both of them back out there, you don't necessarily have, you could go super small. They was pounding it inside anyway.
Right. You
could try to make it make them have to guard you on the other end or something, but just not to give her a chance with 10 minutes left. Like that's a lot of time. Because I've been on the bench where you be like, dang, we got this 9-point lead, but this clock is going way too slow.
Well, not to kind of shut this segment down, but I know we've been talking a lot about state, but I just want to say real quickly, congratulations go out to Dawn Staley and her staff. First championship in school history. What she's been able to do with that program is something that should definitely be marveled at. I mean, South Carolina for years has been like a graveyard job, honestly, where either careers go to die or if your career is already there, you trying to revive it there. That's basically what South Carolina's always been known as before Dawn took over. And she really has turned that program around into something special. Led the NCAA in attendance this year, which is awesome for them.
Well, that's good. They ain't got nothing else to do with it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, sticking with women's basketball and continuing a little bit with Mississippi State, let's jump into our chanting and ranting about the UConn Mississippi State finish. And so, I'll let you start.
When I woke up to SEC in the finals, and I was like, okay, what? Wait a minute. Oh, the women played last night. So I go on my little YouTube and I said, let me see what happened. So somebody had put the overtime in on YouTube. And I'm watching it, and I kind of fast forward a little bit. And I get to the last 2 minutes or so, and then I'm like, okay, they get to steal, the big girl deflect the ball up in the air, they push it, score. Then the next thing I know, I'm like, what's happening? Like, why are they shooting free throws? I go back, they don't call a flagrant foul or something. I'm like, what? You have got to be kidding me. You called a flagrant foul on a play that happened later on. If this was the NBA, they wouldn't even do that in the game. What they would do is find the player afterwards.
Right.
But they wouldn't make you, if they missed the call at real time, they wouldn't go back and try to make, I said, they cheating. And if you can't win this game, I'm going to be livid. Not that anybody would have cared. Thank God UConn didn't win.
Yeah, I literally, my entire family was watching in the living room and was just getting more and more frustrated as they showed the replay because you had Doris Burke and Carol Lawson on the call on TV. Two very respected, Carol being a former player and her and Doris are very respected in broadcasting these days. They were so adamant that it was the correct call when they went back and called it a flagrant one. I was completely adamant the entire opposite direction. I felt like the more I saw the slow motion replay, it didn't even look like Dillingham even touched Kate Lou Samuelson with her elbow. And in fact, like I told you yesterday when I spoke to you on the phone, if you watch the replay throughout, after when Kate Lou Samuelson, gets hit, she falls back, they're running up the floor. You see Dillingham turn and look like she did. Well, why is she laying down? What happened? Like, you can tell there was no malicious intent. If there was contact, it was a basketball play. There was no malicious intent. There was no need to call a flagrant one, other than the fact that you had Katie Lou Samuelson flop and flail out, and you had the entire UConn bench, which hosts the 11-time champion Gino Auriemma and all his aura, and that's what made them go back and call that a flagrant one, which don't make it right, but that's what happened. And you know what? The ball don't lie. Morgan Williams hit the shot at the buzzer to win the game. So
I'm going to tell you, like I tell the guys that I play pickup with, they say stuff like that. The ball is an inanimate object which cannot speak or has no kind of human qualities.
Which is why I said that. I said that on purpose.
So again, I'll say this. My problem with people, personally, I've never been in a situation where I have to go between picking a jury trial or a judge. People see things so differently. I mean, I watch NFL plays, this past season, in basketball stuff, and they'll do a replay, and I see something totally different from the refs. But my thing is, when is it that you can go back in time and call a foul? Like, what is that? If you miss the call, typically don't nobody go back and say, "Oh, well, let's look. We might have missed it."
Right.
They will say, "Okay, coach, we'll keep an eye out." Like, not, "Oh, okay, well, let's stop the game and go look and see if we did miss it," because she over here laying out, flailing out, faking, like she about to die.
Yeah, I think that's one of the dumbest rule changes they've made where that's possible. I don't like it. It just contradicts everything that the basketball purist has grown to know about the game. Because back in the day, like people always say, back in the day, this didn't happen. If you missed a call, you missed a call. But I will say this: you know how I know that those referees know they screwed that up? Because the last play of regulation, overtime, the last possession for UConn, when they made the 2 flagrant 1 free throws, they had the ball, tie game. The point guard, Chong for UConn, with 12 seconds on the clock, which this just shows her youth and inexperience in a situation. She starts driving to the basket. When they had the opportunity to take the very last shot of the game, she starts driving with 12 seconds on the clock. Her and Morgan Williams for state collide. Both of them go to the floor. Not a whistle was blown. She missed the shot. State gets the ball. They go down, and the rest is history. Not a whistle was blown. They swallowed their whistles right there, and that told me that they knew that we got to give something back to state, and that's where they gave it back to them.
It shouldn't have come to that.
It shouldn't have.
And speaking to these commentators that lose their mind on the sideline, don't lose your credibility. I don't know what reason you have to think that it's okay to go back in time and make a foul. Because if any of y'all had been out on the court, I don't know if that other lady played, but when Tennessee was playing, if something like that had happened, she would have been livid if they went back and said, "Oh, 30 seconds ago, somebody made a flagrant foul and we missed it. We're going to call it right now."
Right. Yeah, Carolina would have been just beside herself.
Somebody would have lost her mind.
Yes, she would have.
If something like that happened.
So, yeah, well, hey, it's over. UConn, No.
I got one more thing to rant about.
Okay.
Now that you brought that up. Officiating, something's got to change. there is no negative consequence when they do stuff like this. Not just women's basketball, basketball in general, football. Like, you don't want them to be fined. I'm fine with it because you get paid to do this job. Like, some calls should be obvious. Like, we talked about a couple of, about a year ago, I guess now. You know, we saw them crazy travels where people was taking 20 steps and getting to the basket in the NBA. Yes. Like, if you miss that kind of call, you should be fined. And if you go back and do something like this, you should be fined.
Yeah, I mean, and it don't have to be public knowledge. Like the NFL comes out with their weekly report. Is it the NFL or the NBA? It comes out with their weekly.
The NBA. Say they missed the call in the last 10. Nobody want to hear that. No. What's the consequence for it?
Right. All that don't have to be public knowledge. Just if they screw up, they screw up. They're human, just like all of us, and they're gonna make mistakes. And
I appreciate it. It's fine, but some blatant stuff you shouldn't miss.
Right.
Like those crazy travels that we've seen. They let them in the NBA in particular, and I think in all leagues they should just go to a 4-man team. Every official have a quadrant. You in each 4 corners. You won't be in the way on the court. You shouldn't miss anything looking at that one particular spot of the court.
Yeah, that's something you've been a proponent of for years.
Maybe they have to not miss so many calls or make so many bad calls because they don't have a good angle to see. Because these kids are getting bigger and bigger, and so the official's not necessarily growing. So you can't, especially in the NBA, you can't see over these 7-foot dudes. If you're on that baseline, or you might see some stuff on the sideline, but it's too many angles. If 4 people out there, I feel like they have a better chance of not missing so much.
All right. Yeah. So is that your last chanting and ranting?
Yeah, I'm finished chanting right now.
Okay.
I'm ranting.
For this week.
Yeah.
Staying with women's college basketball, there's a discussion being held because of the low attendance numbers of all the tournament games, and most notably the regional finals. There's a discussion on possibly in the future holding the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games for women's basketball all in the same city.
Why do you think that's going to change something?
I guess to have everybody, maybe they're thinking it in the same city, everybody will be in one central location, everybody will have the opportunity to go to all the games. That's all I could think. All I know is when I heard this, Debbie Antonelli, friend of the podcast, famed broadcaster, former college basketball player at NC State, McKay had a very good idea in my mind. She has been saying this for years, I honestly, but she just come out and said that they should, if they're going to do something like that, they should do it in Vegas. And I looked it up. There's an article out. Let me pull it up real quick. And I knew this already, but I just needed a reminder in print. The Pac-12, Mountain West, Western Athletic, and West Coast conferences are all playing a combined 7 men and women's postseason tournaments in Vegas this past year. So I know it can be done, and you have enough venues in the city for it to happen. Only problem
that would just be the West Coast team. What about the East Coast? What, they gonna play in New York or something?
I'm just saying have them all.
No. People don't have money to fly across the country. Then all the people on the East Coast, when Tennessee, State, South Carolina, whoever, they're going to be going broke trying to get to Las Vegas.
I'm not saying every year. Let me refrain. I'm just saying on a year-by-year basis, you can have it in Vegas one year. You can have it in New York another year. You can have it, you don't have, I'm not saying every year. I guess I misspoke on that. I'm just saying, just for the initial thought of it, I feel like the initial time they do it, it would be interesting to see it in Vegas, where you have the Orleans Arena,
We're gonna have a bunch of people gambling.
Well, the problem is the NCAA. While they can't legislate where the conference tournaments are being held, they do have a legislation against holding places where legalized gambling is a possibility. So,
and that's what I'm talking about.
These
people gonna be in the casino.
it would be, I think I read like it would be 2022 before anything could even be brought up, and which is again that goes back to NCAA violations and the investigations that the NCAA does. The fact that they'd have to wait till 2022 to even bring it up for a discussion is stupid. I think all the NCAA investigations would take entirely too long. You have almost a whole recruiting classes come through before a team gets, any kind of penalty and is going against kids that don't even have anything to do with things. But don't even get me started on that.
So you need to be careful of what program you pick us in.
Yes.
So for me, I don't see how moving it to wherever is going to change anything. If I don't want to come to a game and like the people that have good fans, they gonna go wherever their team is. Like I don't think that moving it to anywhere is gonna make a difference. Like I told several people this. I think UConn losing it was great, but I think UConn in that 111 game winning streak has been bad for women's basketball. Now, why, T? Because when you have fans that's teetering on, they got a reason to watch. That is, they got a cousin that's on a team, sibling on a team, a friend that know a friend, and you got the legit fans that's just gonna watch. But a lot of fans are like, I'm not watching that. I already know UConn gonna win. Like they won 4 straight. They won 111 games. I'll watch something else because no matter whatever this outcome is, I know that UConn gonna win it all. And when Tennessee was winning, at least the games you in question, you never knew that Tennessee. We wasn't like, Tennessee gonna win. They fans were, but the rest of us like, they can be beat.
Right.
But UConn with all these wins have not been good for women's basketball. Like if you didn't have family members or friends or somebody playing on the team, you don't really have any reason to say, I'm gonna watch a women's basketball game and just check it out. Even if you're NCAA, like men's basketball or NBA, you really don't have any reason to be like, let me check out the girls' game. So maybe they need to look at making some kind of change to make the game faster, or because the games don't really get good until it's tournament time. Like, honestly, I haven't enjoyed watching many games in the last several years.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do if they do decide to make changes in that respect. I did notice, I guess just because this has been a discussion here the last couple of weeks, I paid more attention to it, but I did notice the crowds were lacking in just about every time they were on TV this tournament. And honestly, like you were just saying, I think a lot of it has to do with UConn's dominance. Also, one team that you always knows in women's basketball that travels, the fans travel, Tennessee.
I would say, have their fans been traveling?
They have, not to the extent that they used to, but also Tennessee, we know, has not been the same the last couple of years. They got put out, in the tournament pretty early. So their fans, nowhere to be found. Obviously, you expect to see all that orange everywhere. Even in the SEC tournament, I felt like I didn't see a lot of orange.
So, yeah. And they don't do a good job advertising me, because if I hadn't woke up to those text messages, I didn't even realize the game was Friday night. The semifinal. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Think about it. Look at ESPN. You didn't see anything. If you just go on their main page, you don't see anything about the women's sport until it's a championship won or something. Other than that, they'll talk about LeBron James hurt toe. Stephon Curry's pinky finger, he cut it last night playing with the little girl, riding it. They'll talk about anything, but they don't talk about women's sports like that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they do have a page, but forget the page. Because for all y'all out there that saying, oh, they got a whole women's ESPN page or ESPNW, forget that. Women's sports should be on that main page, and not just when what's the girl that got knocked out, the MMA boxer?
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, not just when Ronda Rousey gets beat, or again when South Carolina wins a championship. Like, everybody want equal rights. Well, why don't y'all get on ESPN? Because they don't cover women's sports half as heavily as they do men.
Yeah, they covered the men's tournament. That wasn't even on that network. They covered that 1,000 times more than the women here until right at the end. Now they did spend a whole day talking about Morgan Williams' shot against UConn, but that's
and why? Because they beat the team with the 111 game win streak. Other than that, they wouldn't have been on them.
And, exactly. So that's definitely something that would help a lot. The coverage, like you said.
It would help with this. It would help with WNBA. A lot of people that might want to, I don't know when the WNBA season start. Typically, because I stopped frequenting ESPN just for that reason, but I used to go on there quite often in the mornings just to check out and see, let's see what's happening in sports. Yeah. When the kid decided to say something like, it's a lot of lesbians in the WNBA and the culture is bad, now we want to put that on there. But y'all, when some other good stuff happening, y'all ain't put that on there.
Right.
Okay, so I was venting again. I told you it was coming. Go ahead.
That's okay. You brought up something that's going to help me transition into our next topic. You talked about LeBron James.
And his big toe is not hurt people. That's just
just injuries in general. There's a big discussion going on over the last couple of months. And it's been a discussion, especially when Greg Popovich started doing this back in, a couple years ago. NBA and the DNPs did not play because of rest.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts? I know, there's a lot of discussion out there right now that it's only a big deal because LeBron James and Stephon Curry and people like that are the ones who are sitting, during rest. It's not just because of them. Yeah, it's been more newsworthy. But when you're starting to sit and tire all your stars on games that are on TV on a Saturday, and you got San Antonio, let's say Golden State and Cleveland, or Golden State and San Antonio, and everybody that those fans came to see, or those fans are turning the TV on to see, is sitting in street clothes. It's a problem.
Right. So, I try not to feel any way about LeBron. He can play. I feel. When he decided he want to say, they only did it because no, because you don't. If you had to sit out and the Clippers had decided they want to sit all y'all out on a national televised game. Well, the week before, if I'm not incorrect, the Warriors did the same thing against the Spurs or something.
Yep.
And for example, for people like myself, I don't have anything but an antenna. I got antenna TV. And so if I'm a fan and I'm like, okay, ABC, I know they're going to have a game on this week. And then I stay up late. And then I'm like, I don't even know half of these people on the court. What's going on? Now, from the other side, if the Mackay T show, we can afford only a couple of $1 million for a commercial. We decide we're going to run Mackay T show commercial on ABC, NBA on ABC. And then all of a sudden, everybody turned it off because they realized that none of the stars were playing it, so they went on to watch some movie. I I don't lost viewership, and I ain't getting as much bang for my buck.
Right.
If you want to sit down, how about sit them down at home games that are not televised?
Yeah, where you gonna get 41 games a year at your home stadium, where your fans will have 41 opportunities to see you play.
Sit them down at home games and see how your home fans like it. Because some of them are playing Johnny. Johnny only get to come to 1 or 2 games a year. And some of them not going to be happy if they bring Johnny to the game. And LeBron, J.R. Smith, Tristan Thompson, Love, all them sit down, Irving. So get on the court and play. If you're not hurt, yeah, I can understand. If this is a coach's decision, y'all need to talk to the coaches. Because rightfully so, the players can't just, well, I don't see Kobe get up and go to the scores table. But most of generally, the players can't just hop up and go and check themselves in the game. So maybe the conversation needs to happen with the coaches.
I've seen Kobe walk off the floor with torn Achilles, so we're not even going to talk about Kobe. But,
I'm just saying,
yeah.
I don't see Kobe get up and just kind of shake himself in the game. And I was like, oh, well, maybe they say go get in. But anyway.
And I'm trying so hard, because you know I do have a bias against LeBron. You know personally.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm trying so hard to not let that creep in. But when I see him on TV, almost seemingly roll his eyes when he's commenting on this and say, people just need to get over the fact that, players are resting is part of what's, our game now. It's going to be a part of it for years to come. How? First of all, everybody knows his story. Everybody knows he didn't come from a privileged background, not a lot of money growing up. How can you sit there and act like everybody just needs to get over it when you got fans out there, like you just got through saying, going and buying tickets for Johnny to come to the game, and Johnny comes in and he doesn't get to see LeBron, who he's coming to see, because LeBron's sitting, and it might be the only game Johnny gets to attend that year.
Like some kid came for his birthday and was sad at some game. I don't forget what game it was. The person that he loved didn't play. Okay, so this, we talk about white privilege a lot. Let's just talk about rich privilege when you got a lot of money. That's privilege talking.
Yeah. That's
all that is. Because you didn't see Kareem and Magic and Bird and Michael Jordan and none of them sitting out. And they were not making the amount of money that these guys are making right now. I mean, if we want to go back to Bill Russell and those guys, these guys had other jobs. And they showed up night in and night out and put in the work. Because they understood it was a privilege and they loved the game. These people are a bunch of prima donnas.
The love for the game is not the same. It's not.
It's not. And when you got Eric Rose talking about he don't want to play because he had to sit in the boardroom or something crazy. You know what he said about his knee?
Yes, I remember.
They are a bunch of prima donnas experiencing privilege because they have money and that's not a concern for them when other people are spending their money to watch them and buy jerseys and stuff, and they don't care if I let you down on that night.
Nope.
Oh, what? It's about me. It ain't about you. It ain't about the fans, which they don't understand. If these people start watching and start buying jerseys, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, and when it goes back to having to put the NBA Finals on tape delay, it's going to be a real issue.
I feel bad.
Yeah, when they go back to that and they don't get their money, and these $200 million contracts going to go somewhere.
Because honestly, fining them is not going to change it. Like when the Spurs got that $250,000 fine for sitting it out, and honestly, that's who started it. Like Popovich started this. While LeBron want to say it's because of him, Popovich started this a while ago when he set out all his people against the Heat that year, and flew Duncan them home. You remember that?
Yes, I remember. On Southwest. So,
well, LeBron want to think he started something. No, Popovich started it, and Isaiah Thomas had a good point. He's like, look, you are the marquee player for the league, LeBron James. You don't get the privilege of sitting out. The NBA is riding on your back right now. In years to come, it'll be somebody else. It was once Jordan. It was once Magic and Bird. It's your time now. You got to show up, and they need you on the court. And you get billions of dollars. You're almost a billionaire, I'm sure. Every time you look up, you're on commercials. You got some kind of crazy contract. Like some of them making a couple of $1 million a game. A game.
Carmelo making $1 million a shot.
Either way, like that's crazy. And then you don't have the decency to just go out there and play. Because if you say, Coach, I want to play, I'm sure Tyronn Lue ain't gonna be like, nah, go sit down. Now he might.
No, everybody knows who's running that team.
He might. He'd be like, no, Coach, I want to play. I want to go out. I know there's people out there that came to see me. Jordan played through injuries throughout the season.
Yeah,
Magic.
They're not playing for the love of the game anymore. They're playing for their next contract or their next movie, their commercial, all these outside interests that they have now. That's all that matters to them. Their brand that everybody speaks of. Their brand that everybody wants to talk about. That's all, and that's the way the world's going. And sadly,
well, it won't take much. I don't watch a lot of NBA anyway, but it won't take much. The Lakers are awful. And speaking of the Lakers, I'm about to vent again.
Go ahead.
Do they not realize that we don't get the top 3 picks that we gonna get nothing? Why would you even? If it looked like you was gonna win, you take out everybody that can play and put 15 through 10 go in the game.
Listen, Luke Walton sitting over there looking sad, and you can just tell in his face he's questioning every decision he ever made in life.
I don't think he's sad about the team so much. I don't know what he's sad about.
He's sad because they know that he wants to win.
So he should have known that. Like he had to know coming into this that they weren't gonna win. Like that's a given. Like he's too smart of a guy. He's seen what he had. He's seen them play. He knew they weren't gonna turn around. That being said, you do what the Suns did. You do not win a game. We got 5 games left. We need to lose every last one of them, and we need luck on our side. If you believe in luck.
Listen, somebody forgot to tell Devin Booker that the Suns were tanking. Because that boy got 70 the other night. They still lost the game, mind you. But he went off for 70.
Like, dude, what are you thinking? Magic. Look here, Magic. I know you don't listen to Mackay T Show, but somebody know Magic. Y'all tell him, look, we need to lose these last 5 games and start playing around like we trying to win. Everybody know we tanking.
It don't matter. It don't matter where y'all gonna pick Lonzo Ball anyway.
We're not gonna have the number 3 pick if we keep playing around. We're not even we're the 3rd worst now. I think we tied for the 3rd worst, and for some reason I feel like I read something like that. I don't know how the Suns got a chance to have more balls than we do, but I can't. Okay, I'm finished there.
Oh, okay. Well, before we get to the draft this year, we have to name an MVP, and that's my next topic and final topic today. The race is coming down to the end. You say Westbrook? I do.
I say Westbrook.
I agree. And everybody wants to, say Harden because his team is doing better.
Compared to no average and triple double. But do we need to have this conversation?
Westbrook.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Westbrook is fixing to do something. If he passes Oscar Robinson's record, that's something that hasn't been done in that many years.
I thought he got more triple doubles than he did already.
He's got like 3 more to get before he passes the single.
Even if he don't, he gonna average it. It's not like 5 games left, right?
That's it.
If that boy don't get MVP, I'm really start watching the NBA.
And they're even in your boy Kobe. even made the comment the other day that there needs to be co-MVPs. No, there doesn't.
Why they need to be cold? What is Harden doing that's so great?
Let me tell you. I've been on a no code rant since Grant Hill and Jason Kidd got Cole Rookie of the Year way back in the day. There's always one. There's just one. You name that one, and then there can be a discussion. Boy, it'd have been nice if so and so. He got beat out for it. There's always a second place that possibly could have been first. There's always going to be a discussion about that, but you know what? There's just one. You just name one and just deal with whatever people want to say after the fact.
Well, I would say this. I would say co-MVPs if it was something like Curry having the season that he had last year. And
where he got a unanimous MVP.
Right, where him and Westbrook having this triple-double season. Like, both of those are worthy of, like, getting an MVP. But there's nobody. What is the code? I don't. What is Harden doing this so great? Am I missing something?
I guess he's passing the ball more and playing in a Mike D'Antoni offense, which everybody knew he was going to have the year he had because he's playing for D'Antoni.
Right.
And I just thought about this is going to throw us off topic, but when you brought up Steph Curry last year getting that unanimous, and this hurts my heart because, like I just said in the previous topic, I have a vendetta against LeBron. So this is gonna hurt my heart to say, and I'm gonna choke coming out my mouth. But how can you have unanimous MVP regardless of what kind of year he had? How can you have unanimous MVP when you have LeBron James in the same league? It's not possible.
It is possible. You know what?
Not possible.
Number one, it happened. Number two, usually, and I was talking to Larry about this, usually there's one person in their conference or whatever that had the votes that always just be like, I'm going to vote for my guy that's in my region or whatever.
Right.
But when you got somebody like Curry that's so likable, like, usually somebody's got some animosity that just don't like LeBron for the reasons maybe that we don't care for him or whatever. And not as a person, but just as a basketball player. Because I don't know him personally.
Right.
But it's usually somebody that's like, oh, I just don't like him. I'm not going to vote for him. But Curry is so likable. You got his little daughter up there doing whatever, being cute. He don't be out saying outlandish, crazy stuff that make you like, ugh, where did that come from? So that's how he won it. Yeah. Because the likability factor.
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, that's why nobody wants to give Westbrook. Yeah, because I don't know that he's arrogant. He's almost a Kobe-ish, where he think he the best and he gonna prove y'all wrong and he really don't care if y'all like him or not.
Yeah.
And by the way, he only one shot of what Arsenal's record. He only need one more.
I know he was coming up on it. I know he was coming up on it.
That's crazy.
So
he don't have the 57-point triple-double, which is the highest scoring one.
Mm-hmm.
He don't have a perfect one, which is the only time somebody hit all their shots had a triple-double.
Right.
There's no way this guy is not the MVP. And I'm not a Russell Westbrook fan. I mean, I don't think about him anyway, but he's killing it. And if he don't get MVP, I'm not really going to be happy. Yeah, nobody cares about that.
Listen, all our fans, y'all just heard it's gonna wind up being a big lie come out of T's mouth. She said she's not a Westbrook fan, but next year when he's playing for the Lakers, she's gonna be the biggest Westbrook fan ever.
No, he won't be playing for us next year. He signed an extension with them.
Did he? I did not know this.
He signed an extension with Okay, see, remember when Durant left and they had all the drama? I
knew they were talking about it. I didn't know he actually signed. Well,
I'm pretty sure.
That's good news.
I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
Okay, Charles. Okay, Charles. Yes, well, yeah, I think that's gonna put a bow on our show for today. I know you got to get your Monday started. So do I.
Yeah.
As always, my goodness. Everybody, sorry, it's been a while. Anyway, as always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Brian Mackay, and I am with
T. It's great to be back, Davis.
And this has been the Mackay T Show podcast. Thank you for listening.
This is the Mackay T Show. This is the Mackay T Show. We talk movies and TV shows, sports and world news, coasting like on a world cruise. Hosted by Brian Mackay and T Davis. Yeah. You can't tame us. We're going to the top, we're becoming famous.
What time is it?
It's time for the Mackay T Show.
What time is it?
I said it's time for the Mackay T Show.